So I say, caramelized onions. What about my bell pepper? I mean, it wasn't the nicest trifle, but you know, you have to try new things.
Onions, onions.
Oh, onion,
Onion.
ennui.
Oh,
which is the
tell
feeling.
me about the ennui.
The feeling this podcast will give you, boys and girls. Welcome to what the hell is this again? An existential crisis. That's it.
Cast.
Yes, Big Damn Cast.
Episode something.
Episode 265? We don't know.
Right.
It's hot as fuck. We have no idea what's happening. It's really, really warm. My name is Chris. We don't have air conditioning as standard in the UK, so Americans, don't be confused as to why we're complaining so much. Johnson?
My name is Matthew. Did you enjoy Freedom Day, Watson?
Oh, fuck. And yeah, it's a freakish sort of weekend, they said, of sort of record high heat here in the UK.
Freakend.
And we are now on Tuesday night of that weekend, so great work. I am dying for the rain at this point. I would love some rain.
I set fire to the rain. You probably could, actually. In this.
Just chuck a match up into it and
in this heat.
In this whit. So we're going to keep this one short and sweet because for health and safety reasons more than anything, we are two loud, large men in a small room with one tiny fan and 2 cans of pop.
Listen,
we might die.
I've already spent 10 hours working in a tiny cubicle in a poorly ventilated space today, so...
Well, at least they have fans.
At least we sent him to space.
Yeah. Which company does Matt work for? Answers on a postcard. There's a few now. That's the thing, isn't it? There's a few companies run by very wealthy people that are going to space.
Formerly ran, actually.
Narrows it down.
Bald twat in a cowboy hat stepped down as CEO a couple of weeks back.
Bald twat in a cowboy hat. Fucking hell.
Gotta have a cowboy hat to go to space.
It says so much, though, doesn't it, that the world's reaction to all of that is just... Right, and?
In the words of the Prophet Zippy. Oh, Jeffrey!
Did he proclaim that while sort of holding his fingers near his mouth as though he's holding a cigar?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I talk like this.
Ah, Jeffrey!
Oh, Jeffrey, why go to space? Because it looks like it to be a good afternoon. A lot of our listeners right now are like, I have no idea what the reference is, like what those voices are. Good! Read a book.
Good.
In the past. Go to the past and read a book.
Past book.
We're going to talk a little bit about pop culture news, but this week mostly we're going to dive into the Loki finale and what it means. There will be spoilers. Brace yourself for it. If you're looking for a more news-heavy episode, come back next week, you impatient bastards. San Diego Comic-Con at home will have happened, and we'll have plenty to talk about.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it'll be... I wonder if it'll be a slightly less minimal SDCC catch-up than last year.
Well,
or
I think
it'll be
Marvel
on
and
par.
DC have both said they're not really bothering.
Yep, Fandom is... I think WB are announcing some DC-based TV project stuff.
Oh, more DC TV projects.
Yeah, but, like, that's it. They're saving the rest for Fandom in October. Marvel have sort of gone... Disney have said, it might be D23, I don't know, maybe. So, it could be at New York Comic Con in October, maybe, that we hear from them, when it's more likely there'll be people there and they can go back to the old school style of spectacle and announcements. I won't be surprised if Marvel Studios put out like a new trailer for something over Comic Con weekend and just put it out there while all eyes are on.
Yeah,
pop
I mean, what would
stuff.
they put out? Because the full trailer for Eternals, well, the first proper trailer for Eternals is out there. The first proper trailer for Shang-Chi's out there.
I mean, there's 2 things they could. One is Hawkeye, which is rumoured to be getting a before the end of year air date on Disney Plus.
That would make sense.
And after Black Widow,
Yeah.
there's now a reason to sort of
That would-
remind everyone about
yeah,
that show.
That would
'cause,
make
like,
sense.
hey, remember that dangling thread? Here's the ball of string.
Remember that dangling thread that No.
And the other one, of course, would be Spider-Man No Way Home. Which
of course.
They really are, like, the only
That's
people...
October, isn't it?
December.
December.
It's
okay.
Yeah, we get October off. Shang-Chi's September, then Eternals November, and then Spider-Man December.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's 2018 all over again. It's mad.
Well, to be fair, like...
Or 2019.
At least one of those was supposed to be out last year.
True. So, Comic-Con at Home, predictions so far? I don't know. I just want to see the Chucky trailer. They put out a little teaser this week, just a few 20-second kind of glimpse at what we're in store for.
The trailer.
What you did there, I don't understand it. But I liked it in a way. For those who've not seen it, aka Matt, I'll show you a little preview. It's like 20 seconds long.
It's
loading 20 seconds.
It's ginger hair.
This is glorious.
Oh.
Great, it's not loading.
It's not
Good
loading.
work. Good work. Chucky is real, or my internet, whichever's failed us.
It's a Chucky. It's a Chucky.
It's a big old Chuck.
It's a Chuck.
Oh, here we go. Right, so there he is. Oh, cheeky little good guy. USA and Sci-Fi present. Oh, look at his... He's got big hair, big boy hair.
Not the big boy hair.
Oh.
His name is Chuck, and he came here to fuck you up.
And you don't fuck with the Chuck. That's the key thing.
Fuck with the Chuck.
He also put out this beautiful promo image of himself.
Yeah, it's quite good, that.
On all of his social... But I'm saying this, like, people are like, what are you talking about? He did it. The Chucky accounts that have been, like, quiet since Cult came out all reactivated this week.
Which accounts.
In action, the animatronic looks really nice. The promo image is probably the best he's ever fucking looked.
Yeah.
Like, if this is TV budget Chucky, keep the franchise on TV.
He's not quite full on pig face, but he's got that little wrinkle.
He's sort of... It's like a lovely marriage of the weird bloated face, one of the recent two.
Yeah.
And Child's Play 2's little snarl. He's sort of sat in between, and I for one... welcome our new Charles Lee Ray Overlords.
I can't wait to see him go full on snarly pig face.
Yes. Well, we sort of get a little glimpse of him, like, you know, screaming a bit in that teaser, but he looks very kind of Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2 natural, like, wrinkly mouth and dreams. If you're wondering why there's a shitload of brand new photos lately of Jennifer Tilly with short blonde hair, like posing with a Cadillac and stuff, that's because she's just openly being like, we're shooting right now. And it's like, someone's shooting something, I'll tell you that. Look at these pictures.
You had to wait till I was taking a drink to say that, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes.
You bastard!
If I look anywhere near as good as that when I'm in my 60s, I will be a very proud individual. She's in her 60s.
Fuck off.
Yep. Jennifer Tilly is an unaging specimen. I think part of that is being an actor for 20 years and then buggering off being a professional poker player for like 10 years and then coming back to acting. Just sort of, your poker face is so good that your face looks unmoved.
You cannot
for 30
move.
Years. Let's have a little gander. Yeah, Jennifer Tilly is 62. 62 and still absolutely got it. Just like, hello, madam. Good day to ye. How are you doing? Let's see if I can get the Tiffany pictures up from the recent.
I saw a couple of them floating around the internet.
She's just it's the biggest tease ever, especially considering we don't know that much about what's going on in the show. Do you know what I mean? We don't really know too much about it, other than it will follow the events of Cult of Chucky. Returning cast members include Fiona Dourif, Alex Vincent. I'm trying to remember her name now. Christine something, the lady who plays Kyle in number 2, who we we last saw in the post-credit scene of Cult of Chucky, rocking up to babysit the original Chucky's severed head. Which I hope makes an appearance because that prop is fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's a new prop.
And in a recurring role, Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany Valentine / Jennifer Tilly. So.
I love that they've just gone full on bonkers with it.
Well, that's the thing. Like in the Chucky universe, has Jennifer Tilly the actor stopped acting, or is she still acting but is secretly Tiffany and no one knows?
I think she stopped acting.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, Jennifer Tilly's not doing much that isn't Chucky.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be no explanation about what's going on with her in the show, aside from there'll be one throwaway line where someone says, like, she kind of looks like Jennifer Tilly, and that'll be it. Like, there's your continuity, folks. Moving on, she's Tiffany now. Let Tilly be Tiffany.
Tiffany Tilly.
Yeah, she left her pet slash what the hell do you call it? Souvenir Tiffany doll that she keeps and runs an Instagram account for and everything at home in LA apparently, making me think that's a curveball and that they've designed a new one because this team obviously have perfected Chucky. So why would they not design a Tiffany to go along with him? I'm really excited about it. That's kind of the only Comic-Con thing I'm fussed. Now here's the thing: no official announcement cites Billy Boyd as being involved in it, and yet, IMDb, Wikipedia, and a few interviews with Don Mancini around the time of the TV show's development post Cult of Chucky suggest that Glenn/Glenda is a big part of the series. So I'm wondering whether or not
after at the end of Seed, isn't Glenn in a human body?
Two twins. Obviously, twins. Glenn is in a young male body. Glenda is in a young female body, and that's the last we saw them. It's the last mention of them, really.
Got grown up.
The last mention of them's in Curse, when he says a lot of families have come and gone over the years, and he says the Barclays, the Kincaids, the Tillys. So like that's your reference.
Okay.
We don't know what that means, but our series is the stars of our series. For those who don't know, like how are they doing it as a show? It's about a vintage Child's Play doll is bought at a yard sale in a small town, and suddenly the promo paragraph is something like everyone's secrets and deceptions are revealed as a series of killings begins in the small town. So it's like, okay, so it's going to be a horrid shit that people have done is about to come to the surface.
Love it.
With the framework being it starts once this doll arrives in town. But our lead performers are a group of 4 teenage cast members.
Love it.
They're the leads of the show. I don't know if any of them are twins, but I won't be surprised if one of them is playing 2 characters, maybe. If any of the actors are sort of, arguably androgynous enough that you could get away with that. It's entirely possible.
I love it!
Yeah. As long as Billy Boyd's voice shows up at some point. Have you been listening to the podcast that he does with Dominic Monaghan?
I'm a couple behind, but yeah.
The Friendship Onion.
It's lovely.
It's great.
It's just lovely.
I wish that it was a legal requirement for podcasts that use the hosts to read out the ads for there to be like a sound effect that signals the ad is about to happen. Because several times I'm like, this story's great. Why are they telling me about a VPN? Oh, shit, it's the sponsorship.
It's an ad. They just slip them in there. You can watch the video version on YouTube where it's a bit more obvious.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, I didn't know there was a video version.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to get on that. Right. Fucking Comic-Con at home. Yay.
Yeah.
Woo. Huzzah. Kalukale. What we're really here to talk about, everyone.
Yes.
Is Sprint. This week's episode is sponsored by... This week's episode is sponsored by My Face. If you want to avoid spoilers for Loki episode 6, the season 1, emphasis on season 1 finale.
If you want to avoid spoilers for Loki in general, because we're going to have to talk about the whole season, but then how have you got this far without... Yeah. We're going to spoil Loki.
Feck off
from this point on.
If you're worried about it.
So go watch the finale before you carry on listening.
In the short spoiler-free summary, just in case people still haven't found the off switch, we have not talked to each other about what we thought of it yet. We've kind of kept it stum since last Wednesday. And I'm kind of glad of that because based on the internet's reaction to this last episode, this could go either way. So, on the count of 3, how many Kangs out of Kang did you rate this finale? 1, 2, 3. Kangs. Yeah, definitely Kangs.
Or technically, Immortuses.
Or even more pedantically, He Who Remains.
Yes.
Borrowing super heavily from Immortus. Because He Who Remains is not Kang. In the comics, He Who Remains is a TVA member who, it seems, is stuck in a perpetual cycle where they created the TVA and are the last to stick around.
I love that they are now confident enough in their IP
to
introduce a character through iconography and the knowledge of casting alone.
Do you know? So
it's so ballsy.
My favorite moment as a viewer was them stepping into that hallway and what was revealed to be an elevator door opening to reveal Jonathan Majors laughing at them about how like brilliant and amazing this is, knowing that we are all also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That was my favorite sort of like moment as a viewer watching this finale, because holy fuck, they did it. The closest thing I can think of, Doctor Who announcing that Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill are going to leave at the end of the year, and announcing that the next companion will be played by Jenna Coleman, and then the very first episode we see after that announcement features Jenna Coleman, and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What is going on? And then she's dead by the end of that episode, and you're like, no, what was that about, though? Like that? I remember that at the time being like, that's really fucking smart. You played the announcements to your advantage in a way that, if you weren't around for the time of the announcements, still works in the ongoing story.
Yeah, well...
And this might too, but like if you were around in the age of those stories...
I don't think they stick the landing on that particular story arc.
Well, no, but I mean, like if you were watching it... Say if you were getting someone into Doctor Who now...
Yeah.
They'd still go up to that episode and go like, oh, who's that? Because when she pops back up in the snowman, you'd be like, wait a minute!
Yeah.
Like, that's still... Like, the mystery of Clara establishing it still kind of works, whereas like... this is sort of the same thing. And I think going forward it would work even better, because if anyone then has knowledge of him in an upcoming movie in 2 years' time...
What?
Then they're going to be like,
no.
hang on, he was in this as well! So yeah, let's start at the beginning. As one tends to do...
Or do they start at the end?
Good question. B-15?
B-15.
B-15, not to be confused with the B-52s.
Rock Lobster!
Who go around the TVA taking everyone to different variant versions of the Love Shack.
Yeah. It's a little / big / old / young place.
Little
where you
old
can
place where...
or cannot get together or come apart.
There is no can. There's only Kang.
Hey.
So B-15 proves to the other sort of squad leader we've seen in the series, the grumpier guy, that Ravonna is also a variant. Like, definitely a variant, which is a really fun scene.
Yeah.
They arrive basically using, obviously, the tip-off Mobius has given her, which is the pen.
Yeah.
From a specific, like, university and a specific year. It's 2018. They go there, like, they pursue B-15, and she's like, look, there's Ravonna. It's like, what are you doing in my office? Says teacher version of Ravonna.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god, this is either her before she's pruned, or just another version of her.
I think that's the prime.
Yeah, so it's like proof she's the variant.
Yeah.
And it's like great. I love how by the end of this we still don't necessarily know what Ravonna's role in everything was.
Nope.
Like whether or not she was aware of any grander scheme, or whether or not she too is now like, I need answers.
Yeah, because she just fucks off.
Yeah, and that's all we see of
into
her.
the portal, and that's it.
Because she's totally going to bump into someone who has the answers, but isn't the person who started it all in the first place.
Oh no!
And she's probably going to fall in love with this person, and we're probably going to get the comic book version of that relationship by the time Ant-Man rolls around. Because, the crux of this one, the main drive of this, and what made it entertaining for me, was the series started with people sat at tables talking, and it being really compelling.
Yeah.
Exposition not made boring because you trusted the actors and kind of did the TV thing of letting the audience's imagination paint the picture while the characters just sort of provided words. And then we got a lot of visuals as the series went on, and a lot of spectacle. And then we ended with 3 people sat at a table talking about how it all fits together.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate that.
No, not at all.
A lot of the internet did. Like, really did hate it, but I can't knock it. Well, no, because it made me very, very happy.
I think it struck a fair balance between explaining what the fuck's been going on, setting up where it's going, and giving that sort of action-y, climax-y bit.
Yeah.
With the Sylvie and Loki fight and their sort of subsequent separation.
Yeah, and the kiss no one wanted.
But everyone kind of wanted. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I'm not like, it's weird, but I'm on board with it, kind of.
Yeah. I think I'd like to see... We've established this series that Loki is, like, omnisexual, but I would like to see other variants of Loki that aren't obvious males. Just to provide that kind of thing of, Are they only in love because she's the only girl Loki and we have to sell this to China?
I know, because apparently there's another girl Loki in the group of variants in the last episode.
True, they were Lokis. Yeah, they were all Loki, so... Unless they were Mobius, in which case it was Mobius.
Yes. Are you saying you wished you'd seen our Loki nosh off Richard E. Grant's Loki?
No, Alligator Loki, they had more chemistry.
Cloak is a bit difficult to get your mouth around, though.
Well, one of you it finds it difficult to get your mouth around. The other one would have no problem getting their mouth around anything.
Well. Quite.
Still can't get over that scream from episode 5.
So good. That was very good.
President Loki loses a hand and squeals for about 40 seconds. It's magical. Loki and Sylvie were the main thread of this. Their encounter with Miss Minutes is great. That's so creepy.
Yeah, I'm glad they found things to do with Miss Minutes going forward.
Yeah. And for all we know, Miss Minutes isn't done yet.
No, she seems to be like the whatever computer He Who Remains.
Because that's the thing, she barters with them.
Yeah.
And basically is like, you can have the lives you wanted, you could live in the same time stream. He can make it possible. He can make it possible for you two to live out everything you want together, if that's what you want. It can happen. And they're like, no, we've come here, we're getting answers. And she's like, well, your loss. And then she vanishes. And then He Who Remains makes no sort of suggestion that that's what he would give them.
He does.
Well, no, because what he suggests is you've got two options. You either take my place, or you kill me and everything goes to shit.
He does offer to put them back in the timeline before that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, because I did wonder. I was like, she seems way more.
It's after they turn him down, like.
Oh, and he's like, okay, here we go.
Okay, well, we've got to. This is two things.
But he also knew they'd turn him down.
Because they turn him down before they get to the point where he crosses the threshold of not knowing what's going to happen next.
That was, and I say this in a series where Sophie DiMartino has been doing some incredible work. Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston have done some great work. We've had great one-off performances. The moment where, because he doesn't explain it until after it's happened.
Yeah.
The moment where He Who Remains crosses the threshold of what he knows to be going to happen.
Yeah.
And not knowing what happens next. Like, finally getting to the last page of a millennia's long book, essentially.
Yeah.
And not knowing what's coming next. His performance in that moment where it's a good 30 seconds or more where he just kind of stops talking, he stops himself, and the camera just slowly pans in, doesn't get close enough, but just enough to kind of give you everything he's doing, and then really slowly pulls away before he kind of goes, we're here, and explains what's about to happen. On reflection, that moment is such a good performance from Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like, you feel the weight of someone who's like, I've been here for hundreds of thousands of years. This was never my plan. Whatever happens next, even if it's me dying, is exciting. Because I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. Because I love that thing as well, when he teleports away every time Sylvie tries to kill him, is explained as like, he's not teleporting. He pre-programmed his tempad to do that. Because he knows she's going to try and stab him at those exact moments, so he pre-programmed it to move out the way.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, huh? So it's not necessarily like he has infinite cosmic power, it's he has the next best thing.
Yeah.
Because the dude's got knowledge. And we get the backstory of what the TVA actually fecking is.
Yeah.
So, a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? It's Nathan Richards, isn't it? Nathaniel Richards.
Nathaniel Richards.
A scientist in the 31st century on Earth.
No, they don't say his name in this.
I'm pretty sure they say Dr. Richards or something like that. I don't know why I thought that.
They don't name
him. I think it's... Oh, no, I think I've convinced myself they did, because the first visual we see of him is him, like, just flat out lab coat, shirt, tie. Yeah, and like, they're not making any weird sort of, like, here's this. They're like, no, there's the dude.
They play with the Council of Reeds idea.
Yeah. This scientist from the 31st century discovers a way to, like, breach the wall between realities and find other timelines, other universes, other parallel worlds. But of course, around that same time, in the majority of those parallel worlds, the version of him in those worlds also cracked the code.
Yeah.
So they like ping each other, and they meet, and they share knowledge, and it begins as what seems to be this sort of very subtle, not too sudden, like this gradual idea that they're going to help better each other's universes and fix the problems.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it ain't just the nice versions of him that discovered how to do this at the same time. Like, there are others out there that... And we see him. We see him in the little, like, metal sculptures.
Oh, yeah.
Before we even get to that last shot of the series. We see one in the tunic with the collar and the distinct lining down the front.
Oh, yeah.
And the big frickin' boots up to his thighs. But no helmet, which I think is kind of nice. Save that stuff for later if you want to play with it. We see one in particular who apparently is taking advantage of it all. So it's emergency scrapped. The timelines are all separated, and then this guy, this version, elevates himself to a position with what he's done, what he's learned, where he is able to smash all the timelines into one perpetual form. And that's something that one of the visuals in this series confused me a few times, and I don't know if it's the same with any listeners, let me know. But I always was like, oh, so there's just one reality. But we know there isn't one reality, because in Avengers Endgame we saw there isn't one reality. There's several. Yeah, that's what this is. That loop, that circle, which we open the episode in, like, inside of, hearing all these different sound bites from stories we know and music we know and, you know, like, proper important speeches and then some Kylie Minogue, because why not? Inside that circle is basically like however many timelines there are, all just sort of lined up next to each other, doing a loop-de-loop. That's what they are. They're just ongoing, running on course. So when the timeline branches, it's not necessarily the one timeline fucking up. It's like that is not one time leaking into another. That's like the walls of the structure between them breaking. Yeah. And as soon as the sacred timeline, which is basically a condom, it's a condom around all the penises of time. If that condom breaks, the penises wiggle free and go all over the place and could sword fight with each other, is the point. So he's like, I'm going to put them all in one constant state. I'm going to stuff them all into this giant universal Johnny. And then that's it. Problem is, I have to maintain it. And the easiest way for me to do that was to create an organisation. Seems simple. Seems kind of cruel, because we realise that not everyone who's pruned is just sent somewhere else. Like, they're killed. They're removed from the timeline and erased. The implication being that, you know, sometimes things are pruned and they fall into the void, but that's not what's meant to happen.
Oh no, I think it is meant to fall into the void. It's just that's where Alioth lives.
Oh god, yes, that's it. Yes, that's right. Yeah, so they are killed, but they're killed by being shoved there, and then Alioth devours them. Loki seemed to appear in there more often than not, and that may have something to do with the fate that he's aware of. Yeah, because he knew that no matter what, he would end up at that desk having a conversation with two Lokis, and they would be the person who he would then go, right, I don't know what the fuck happens next, but this is all got to be maintained. So, because that's the thing as well, he says that he found Alioth. Yeah. He's like, oh shit, I need to bottle that and save reality from it. And then I need to put all the timelines in conjunction. Oh, I guess if something goes wrong, we'll send it to Alioth to be devoured. Yeah. And that's life. Like, basically. That's how it's going to work. It's horrible, but it's the only way to, like, you know, the needs of the many, all that sort of stuff. Loki sort of sees the sense in it, doesn't agree with it, but sees the sense in it, and Sylvie is just made more disgusted, because at this point, she's been looking for a big bad guy to fight. She's been looking for the man behind the curtain. I mean, they flat out say it as well in the last two episodes, the man behind the curtain.
There's a lot of Oz going
She wants to punch the Wizard of Oz in his fucking face. Which leads to our conflict with them two. With, like, what their stand is and why they suddenly are facing off, because as Loki puts it, like, you can't trust anyone, like that's Sylvie's problem, and I'm the least trustworthy person.
Yeah, I can't be trusted.
I can't be trusted. So, of course it was going to come to this. Of course it was going to come to them both not seeing the same side of this argument and having to face off against one another.
Yep.
What happens if Sylvie and Loki take He Who Remains his place and let him, presumably, just fuck off into any timeline he chooses and retire or have another life or whatever?
Or he can kill him. Doesn't matter which.
As long as they take his place.
As long as they take his place. They just run the TVA and keep things going.
What happened instead?
Well, Sylvie and Loki do a big fight.
Big
It's
old
a good
fighty
fight.
fight.
It's a good fight. It's fight.
Really good, like, close-up, hand-to-hand combat stuff
Yeah,
as well.
it's a nice, like, swashbuckle. Dialogue.
Bit of
Betrayal.
magic.
Swashbuckle. Dialogue. Smooch! Fuck off back to the TVA, I'm going to kill this guy.
She uses Kang's tempad as well.
Yes.
Sorry, He Who Remains his tempad, which he takes off,
Yeah.
which is all, like, it's absolutely going to be released by
It's like a disco
Hasbro
obsidian,
Collectibles
isn't
at some
it?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 70
With
quid,
this-
it lights up.
With these glowing molten lines in it. She nicks his tempad, sends Loki back to the TVA, and then kills He Who Remains. And he's all like, "Oh,
And now he's
see
just,
you soon."
here's my remains. Or,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
that's creepy. Where he just sort of laughs to
Yeah.
himself. And Jonathan Majors isn't playing it as like a ha 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 moment. He's like, oh shit, okay. See you soon.
Yeah.
Because
Reincarnation, baby.
he makes a point of that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, does he say that's a fact or that's his belief? The idea is that when you pass on, you just start as another you in another reality. But what he's also implying is,
Yeah.
if I'm dead, you can bet that the other versions of me who want to do bad are monitoring
Well,
this.
and it's not even that they're monitoring it, it's just that the allowing the sacred timeline to branch will bring them back into existence. Or bring them into existence for the first time.
Yeah.
Or bring them into existence again.
Yeah.
Or, it's notable that the sacred timeline is a circle and not a line.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, there is that.
Something cyclical.
Yes.
And it's, I mean, in that one moment, we get the setup of what's going to happen for next series, which is the sacred timeline's fucked. The TVA, as it now is, has its work cut out for it, and there's probably going to be another version of He Who Remains involved, like who's going to rock up and try and fuck with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it also seems to be setting up what's about to happen in several of the movies in a way that I don't think the movies will reflect on. But
Not directly.
it's the comic book logic
Well-
of, oh, if you read that, you'll know it came from there, but you don't have to read that to enjoy this story.
Doctor Strange might, because Doctor Strange is all about the multiverse of madness.
True.
And what have they just created?
Splintering multiverses.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've
And-
just shattered the walls between them.
And what kind of things, what kind of stories do we get out of shattered multiverses?
Kang stories?
What ifs?
True. Yes. Shit. Yeah. Oh god, is this the start of What If?
we know Kang's going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Mm.
We know.
We know the multiverse is going to be explained
Multiverse
or
is gonna be a
explored
thing.
in depth in the Doctor Strange sequel, and we think we know that the multiverse plays a part in the Spider-Man
No
movie.
Way Home, but we don't know for sure.
And I don't want it to, but
But it will because movie execs.
and because Doctor Strange is in the Lego set they've released, so it's like, yeah,
You see, it's flying around that apparently Tom Holland's been in negotiations for another Spider-Man trilogy.
I don't hate that if it is still a Marvel Studios Disney
believe it
Sony
is,
co-production,
yeah.
and
That's the rumour anyway.
furthermore, at least two of them are. He's in New York and he's going to fight criminal,
Well, I think they
and
would
criminal and Peter's life problems will intertwine.
I think they just wanted to do something different with Spider-Man, seeing as they'd done 2 series.
True, but
and also
the Avengers films kind of
relatively
have given
recently
us
as
that.
well.
Yeah, well,
Like, 'cause,
yeah.
I think Spider-Man 2 was, 3 years before Homecoming?
yes, 2 years before Civil War with the reboot of him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So I can see why they wanted to get a bit of distance. And I rewatched Homecoming recently, and it's really fucking good.
I love the last 25... Well, the last however long... From the cab ride to the prom... the car ride to the prom...
The car ride's amazing.
To the credits is just fucking spectacular.
So I guess you get a good chunk of, like, New York...
I like the Staten Island ferry sequence.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good.
So I can see why they took... But anyway, that's Spider-Man. So... Yeah,
him being locked in the storage facility overnight is quite fun as well.
Yeah.
That's a very Spider-Man problem.
It's a very fun
Like, other
movie.
superheroes would be like, you know, they get out or we see them like camp down for the night and that was the plan.
Yeah.
With Spidey, it's fuck. He's
don't
just passing the time over the course of 12 hours being stuck in this warehouse.
I don't get why some people are so down on Homecoming. I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I see why people have an issue with the MCU Spidey being bogged down in certain storylines, but because I have a few issues like that myself. But his movies aren't bad movies at all.
No.
Like Far From Home is everything I've ever wanted Spidey is taken out of New York Spidey film to be.
Yeah.
Tonally, it absolutely works as a Spidey movie, and it's very true to its characters and its ideas. And I love the little nods as well of the whole, like, you know, Thor used to be an ancient myth, now we study him in physics.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a great idea.
It's neat. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate Hannibal Buress?
Oh, God.
And the scene with the Captain America's fitness challenge.
Yes. Fuck.
It's very good.
There's some great comedic turns in both those movies, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, just anything J.B. Smoove says in the second one
Yeah.
is something that makes me very, very happy.
Or from the first one, I couldn't bear to lose a student. Not again.
Yeah. Yes.
This is so good.
Yes. Oh, God. That'd be an interesting point. If they do negotiate another trilogy, it'd be a new director.
Yes, because John Watts is going
to
to do Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Cool.
You don't want more Spidey? Don't need no more.
Don't need no more. So, although it would not surprise me if Spidey guest starred in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
In some fashion.
I'm fine with that. I'm down with that.
Because I think that's the reason why
Give us a Peter and Johnny scene.
The MCU Spider-Man stuff, I'm kind of like that it's more intertwined with... Because for me, like, Spidey is sort of the backbone of the Marvel Universe.
Certainly in terms of it as a company, as a toy box. Yeah.
Because he was one of the first to come along, and he sort of interacted with everybody. Like, everybody knows Spider-Man, and like he's mates with the FF, and like,
his first issue, his very first issue, he tries to apply to be in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, I do things cool. Look at me defying your security system. I'm great. Do you want to hire me? And they're like, get out! You're breaking into our home.
He's palled around.
You suck.
He's palled around /butted heads with a lot of like the street level, more gritty characters.
Like
Daredevil,
he has a
Punisher,
decent relationship with Daredevil, but
yeah,
it plays for some fun tension as well.
The only thing he's kind of like not really involved with is X-Men.
Oh, he's had his moments.
Yeah, he's. I mean,
especially in Ultimate. In Ultimate, they cross over in
quite a bit
in a touchy feely kind of way.
Yeah, well,
and in the case of the body swap storyline, in a very touchy feely kind of way.
And so there is that kind of thing going on.
You read that one?
No,
there's a 2-issue.
I must have done, but not for
between sort of chunky arcs. There's a 2-issue storyline.
Wolverine and him.
Where Wolverine and Peter body swap, and you find out that Jean did it as a prank on Logan to get payback for something. And sort of on Peter for annoying her in some way about something.
Brilliant.
But it's like a really dumb sort of, oh my god, like what is happening storyline.
I remember it's not fondly regarded.
Well, each issue opens with Brian Michael Bendis in caricature, like bullying I think it's the script editor, because it was their pitch. And he was like, I really needed 2 issues to put in this slot. I was kind of fumbling over what story to put in. He suggested it. If you hate it, it's his fault.
Yeah.
But I do love at the end, Peter just goes off on the X-Men. He just does a massive like, no, fuck you. This isn't fucking funny. What do you think you were doing? You're all and it's like censored. He's like, you're all fucks, basically. It's like, you're all fucks. You're a bunch of fucking fucks. It's just, he's having a proper go at him because he's like, I've been inside this hairy man for a whole day.
It's disgusting.
This disgusting smell. I will never forget what I smelt like. I enjoy it because it's dumb as fuck.
Yeah.
But they acknowledge that it's dumb as fuck. And like you say, the MCU Spidey like has the opportunity to be this more crossovery going forward. It would be nice. I mean, especially now we're about to be in a world with Ms. Marvel and, you know, I can't remember which series, but isn't America Chavez is like confirmed as being in one of the shows?
Miss America's going to turn up somewhere. I can't remember where though.
Excuse me. We've had Kid Loki, Rocket. I mean, you could absolutely. Miles is inevitable.
Yeah, because if they end up doing the Champions, or they'll do it with Miles.
I think they'd probably start it with Peter just so they could do it sooner. But if you're going to do a Peter trilogy,
no, because Peter's an Avenger.
Well, that's the thing. If you're going to start a Peter trilogy, you've got to establish Miles during that period and just take your notes wholeheartedly from Insomniac's version.
Well, they've also teased Miles.
Because we've had Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Played by what's it? Childish Gambino himself. Yeah. Which, if they leave that dangling, then they're making a terrible mistake. Like, bring him the fuck back. I think he said yes to it because it was the whole thing of, so I might be the Prowler at some point. Okay.
I think that's
I'll do it.
I think that's also what Kevin Feige was sort of mentioning when he was talking about contracts and stuff recently. Like, how they're not locking people into, like, big multi-picture contracts. They're just bringing people on.
With the notion of, hey, there might be more for you later if you want it. Because we would love to work with you and we think you would smash it.
And then just hope that they're going to enjoy it enough to come back and want to come back to do more stuff rather than be contractually obligated to.
Can we have two Prowlers? Can we have Hobby Brown and Aaron Davis, please?
Prowlers.
No. Prowli.
The plural of Prowler.
The Prowler.
It's too fucking warm, mate.
It is so bloody warm.
Loki. So
fucking
then we
Loki.
get then we get the final tease of Loki returning to the TVA and catching up with Mobius and B-15, who don't remember him.
They just think he's from like the sorting office or something.
And then Kang statue,
yeah, which doesn't, they don't dwell on it. We don't really get Loki's reaction to Mobius not recognizing him because as Mobius begins to talk to him, his eyes lock on something out of frame, and then, like you say, we see like a 7-story tall statue of Kang.
Well, it's replacing what were the Timekeeper statues in the previous version of the TVA, yeah.
Freaking Kang, like unmistakably the outfit of Kang the Conqueror. Which is interesting because earlier on, you know, He Who Remains sort of says he's been called many things.
Yeah.
And at first you're like, oh, is he listing his names? But it's like, no, he's probably just listing the names of the other versions of him that he's aware of. Like, you know, because he says something like...
He's like a tyrant, a conqueror.
And you're like,
oh. He doesn't say anything specific.
Yeah.
Apart from He Who Remains.
He's got Kang's colour scheme. He's in the greens and purples.
He's wearing an Immortus costume.
He's wearing an Immortus costume.
Apart from the silly hat.
Yeah. But that'll be all guaranteed when the assembled episode documentary comes out behind the scenes. It's probably on a shelf behind him somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
They'll have thrown it in there. Fuck it, there it is.
They've thrown everything else in.
And I like the idea that he's so on top of everything he's done that now he's just at the point where he just kind of wanders around his castle having a laugh. He probably spends all day reading, just like...
He's probably gone mad from the isolation.
Yeah, and he plays that so well because this is not the performance we're going to see in Quantumania.
I wouldn't have thought so, because
this is a different dude. Yeah, it's
this is more of the Immortus flavour than Kang.
So we're going to get Ramatut at some point? I hope so.
I don't know if they're still...
Eternals is going to be a story told throughout time. If they could encounter him in ancient Egypt, I'd be very happy.
It depends if they've decided whether or not Ramatut is Kang, because they've sort of retconned it to be Kang and then retconned it to not be Kang, and I'm so confused.
That's also true. In this universe, they're not saying that He Who Remains is Kang in his future. It's one Kang from a different... Yeah. So the way they might do it in the MCU is, different Kangs are from different timelines rather than his own personal timeline intersecting with itself. Yeah. Because we've had that before, haven't we? We've had Immortus trying to stop Kang and...
That's Avengers Forever.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to get Jonathan Majors squeezed into an Iron Lad costume. He's a little built for that, really.
I mean...
Squish him in.
Paint him into it, maybe.
You could lose... Yeah, if you lose... Yeah, well, there you go.
I mean, there's an audience for that. He's not an unattractive man. Let's put it that way.
That's a fucking understatement. He's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, he's a very good-looking man.
The thing is, it's weird because I'm like, are we missing anything? But we're not really.
No.
And that's kind of the thing.
That's kind of all it
This
was.
finale is very... The stakes are high. The business was small.
Yeah.
Not much happened. It's what's going to happen. And the fact that we do get a mid-credits tease that is out of universe and is just it's a mid-credits version of the line at the end of the credits that says, James Bond will return. We get
the Avengers will return. Yeah.
Loki will return in season 2.
Yeah.
Do you remember at the end of Infinity War where instead it said Thanos will return?
Yeah.
I was like, you bastards.
I love it.
You bastards.
Absolutely love it.
Because that's something he's offered as well, isn't it? By Miss Minutes, like you kill Thanos, you rule Asgard. Like, what do you want, man? And I love that at the end, Loki's personal journey is by the end. He's offered by the guy in charge the opportunity to usurp him, dethrone him, kill him, and take his place and have that level of responsibility, yes, but power over everything. Something which this Loki, 72 hours ago, standing there in New York, watching the Chitauri fuck everything up, would have gone, yeah. At the start of this series was like, yeah, all right. I want it. And now his main priority is he wants to make sure Sylvie is okay. That was all he gave a shit about. I just want to know you're going to be okay. And it's like, romance plot, playing or not playing, I really like that growth for that character. It's interesting. And it separates him from the Loki we've known.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they're getting him back to sort of the Loki we know. And it's like, no, because the Loki we knew wasn't an out-and-out good guy.
No,
he was still a bad guy, but he was on his way.
Yeah.
Like, he was a bad guy in Dark World. He was a bad guy between the events of Dark World and Ragnarok. He was a bad guy in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And then he made a good call helping out at the end, but he still showboated. Like, your saviour has arrived! All that stuff. And then at the end, Thor's just like, do you know what? I'm going to give you a chance. And he's like, cheers, mate. And then Thanos arrives.
Yeah.
And the one good act he attempts to do fails.
It's what kills him.
It's what gets him killed. So, like, yeah, this is our chance to sort of see the 2010s take on Loki on screen, really. The one who goes for more of a, I'm going to do some good.
Yeah.
Who eventually reverted to not that, because we got to sell comics and readers will get confused. Which probably means Loki in the comics is about to become a good guy again sometime soon.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. You see, the Disney Store have an exclusive Marvel Select release at the minute.
Oh.
Which is a Loki 2-pack.
Oh.
One of them's a static figure, annoyingly, and that's Kid Loki.
Oh.
So if you're based like flat out on the Young Avengers sort of design, so if you want that one, you can get that. But the main figure is him from like the Agents of Asgard sort of era. So he's got a bit of the fur collar, and he's got the long coat, but you can swap the arms out, so he's just like in the scaly shirt, and he's got the again, we don't want new readers to get confused. New readers, like film style staff that he had at that point in the comics, and it's a good looking set, and it's like I can't wait to maybe visit a Disney store at some point in the next year. And
when are we getting our Loki Marvel Legends wave?
We only have one currently as part of the Disney Plus wave. In fact, he's on the shelf just behind you. There is variant Loki chilling out on the shelf, but they've already announced a separate release Mobius. And Hasbro revealed last week a separate release Sylvie.
I would like to get B-15 and Renslayer as well.
A wave would be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love a wave. I'd rather those two be part of a wave, so we could also get B-15, Renslayer. He Who Remains would be nice.
Yeah, with a little Miss Minutes.
Well, I'm thinking go classic. Renslayer should have a little Miss Minutes.
Yeah.
Classic Loki, because of course.
Yeah.
And your Build-A-Figure should be a fuck-off big Miss Minutes.
Alright, that's terrifying.
Like, how she appears sort of like, briefly in the end of this one, where she just sort of like is in the middle of the hallway, and you're like, oh, that's big. Because, I mean, why not? Like, why that, or just a lot of click into place clouds and make an Goliath?
But no. They're too busy doing the 32-inch tall Galactus.
Have you seen him?
He's enormous. He's a big boy.
A beautiful boy. So
well, it's basically the Marvel Legends version of that Unicron they did for Transformers.
Yes,
which
yeah. This is the. I think this is the second Marvel Legends HasLab project.
Yeah.
The first one was a Sentinel, which is of a similar height, not quite as tall, but of a similar height a couple of years ago. And they've done others like the Star Wars Black Series wave. They did one for
Jabba's sail
for
barge.
the vintage Black Series. They did Jabba's sail barge and the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
And
because then everyone got upset. It was like, doing the Razor Crest HasLabs, and then it got blown up in the show, and now I've got this toy of something to go. Fuck off.
It's just like cool. Fine. Yeah. Do you know how you've got a toy of like goodies and baddies that aren't around anymore? Same thing. Fucking shut up.
Did you burn all your Han Solo toys after the Force Awakens? Like,
did you stick them in kryptonite?
Yay!
I'm still not open that because I want to put him with my Bogma, but I just don't want to give him a proper space really. It also comes with a little stand, so you can have it like floating on its back.
That's neat.
It's a clear stand. That'd be nice. So the current one's Galactus, and it will be physically available to I think everyone who pitches money, because the idea is it's got to have 15,000 backers.
Yeah.
For it to work, because it's one of those where it's like, yes, it's Hasbro, but this won't sell enough for them to profit off of it because it's so niche. Because it'll be really expensive.
I think it was 600 for Unicron because it was so big.
Yeah, Galactus is going to retail because everyone who puts in gets like a discount to buy it from them directly.
Yeah,
and then all the remaining units, of which there'd be like 2,000, would go out into the world, and it will retail at $400. He's big. He's bad. He murdered someone's dad. He's huge. He many dads across one world. He's got LEDs in his chest and helmet. He's got 3 swappable faceplates. You can have him all, just sort of, I'm Galactus. All, go, I'm going to crush you. And Marvel Zombie style, just like skull face.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And he's the first Marvel legend from Hasbro to come with fully articulated fingers.
I love an articulated finger, mate.
It reminded me, I had to show pictures to Lucy. Do you remember the Spider-Man 2 Ultimate action figure?
Yeah, the sort of hyper fucking posable Spider-Man 2
like
thing.
18 inches. My stepbrother had one. It was heavier than a small child. It was because it was metal like framing inside.
Oh, armatured. Okay, yeah.
It was fucking heavy, and its head was always just a little too small proportionally. It sort of had the proportions of a comic book Spider-Man rather than Maguire.
Yeah,
but it was his suit. It was great, and it's one of those where like I wanted it for years because I was using action figures to help with frame of reference for illustrating.
Yeah.
Like, even if I wasn't posing them, having them nearby helped. But yeah, imagine having that for reference. Oh my god! I mean, you'd drop and kill a cat, but
you make sure you keep it secure.
Just get
a heavy duty doll stand.
Clean the cat guts off.
Yeah.
Use its bones as a stand.
Bones to make your bread.
Yeah.
Speaking of bones, let's have a look at the emails. Did not even try. Don't need to try. We're getting some Black Widow correspondence.
So again, if you're listening to this and you saw Loki but you haven't seen Black Widow, beware possible spoilers.
Yeah. This one comes in. That's the email music now. It's the email jingle.
I like it.
The e-mingle. This one comes in from James. Says, "Big damn boys."
Oh, James, hi.
Both Chris and Mr. Irresistible. Mr. Irresistible thanks you for your salutation. It's been a few weeks, but I am back.
Where have you been? Where have you been, James?
Been nowhere.
You got pruned.
Yeah. I really loved your anniversary episode. I watched it live and was constantly in stitches. Sounds painful.
I'm glad we don't have to have American healthcare. The next line would be, here attached is the itemised bill.
As one of my many emails that episode stated, we need more Charlie. Charlie every week. Your reactions to my emails really made my year. And Charlie said my name.
100 years, Charlie. 100 years, 20 seasons. 20 seasons of Charlie, Morty.
100 years. www.100yearscharlie.com. Anyway.
Oh, here's our throwaway review of last week's Rick and Morty. It's fucking weird, wasn't it? Sperm. Anyway, carry on.
I didn't get the hate, but a lot of people were like, it's crossed the line.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
It's crossed the line. It's like,
It was a non-stop, rapid-fire skit for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It never paused to breathe,
I don't think
and I
it was
appreciate it.
I don't think it was as strong as the previous episode.
Oh no, it was a series 2-3 version of a Rick and Morty.
People reacted as if it crossed some barrier of good taste. And I'm like, if you're looking for a barrier of good taste, you are watching the wrong show.
Morty has talked about his masturbatory habits since episode 1. If now you're freaking out because the sperm are large and monstrous, if it makes you feel any better, just pretend that they're Doom Eternal antagonists.
Yeah. I do think the
and more Keith David.
Keith David was spectacular. Absolutely superb in that episode.
The fact that
bringing an armed sperm in here.
The fact that it ends with a giant incest baby in space.
Just
like, what is going on? Fucking hell. That's one continuity thing where I'm like, don't ever bring that up again. But I appreciate how fucked up it got this week.
Yeah. Anyway, on to business. Boys, I have now seen the Fanny Longbottom movie. Assistant whispers in here. Sorry, apparently it was Black Widow.
Yes.
I have now seen Black Widow twice, and I really like this movie. That's not to say it doesn't have its problems, though.
Yeah. Be careful what you say, by the way, because 2 Scarlett Johanssons, a Florence Pugh Pew Pew, a Taskmaster, and a completely inaccurate Red Guardian that looked like it was based on a flashback, but definitely isn't.
It is a completely inaccurate Red Guardian. David Harbour deserves better.
Oh, there's a 2-pack coming with him and Melina in.
Good, I'm glad we're getting him on.
And the David Harbour in that one is slightly pudgier in build, has the marked out star, and has a helmeted and non-helmeted head with scruffy hair and beard.
Oh, Lily Allen will be pleased. The family interactions for me were the best parts of the film. Harbour's self-obsessiveness.
Finally, a you that's as tall as me.
Finally. Fucking hell.
She's tiny.
Harbour's self-obsessiveness.
And he's very tall. I imagine he is definitely Big Spoon. Sorry, carry on.
I would have thought so. His relationship with White's sharp and scientific Melina, clearly injured, was hilarious. And Florence Pew 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 has become someone I can't wait to see moving forward. Yeah, she's like...
She's the breakout.
She's already a star material, but like her ascent is
yeah. This for her is probably what Civil War, but specifically Spider-Man: Homecoming was for Tom Holland. Yeah, like this is the. They're sticking around.
She'd already kind of made a name because did you see Midsommar?
For sure. Yeah, but like what I mean is like the as far as the mainstream popcorn flick that propels them. Because I mean, Scarlett Johansson was around for donkey's years, but it was only really probably
Lost in translation.
Yeah, but I think Iron Man 2 was the one that propelled her into the casual moviegoers like.
Oh, vision. Like she can headline a movie.
Yeah, like she was in plenty of films for that and doing great work, and obviously like Lost in Translation. I mean, for me, the first time I ever saw her in something was Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah, okay.
She mentioned in an interview the other week doing press for Black Widow that like her first sort of movie I think was Home Alone 3.
Oh God!
Which of course has now seen a surge in streams.
Oh God!
Because people are like, wait, what?
There's a Home Alone 3.
Well, that's the first question, and the second question
until they find out about Home Alone 4.
That one's canon. That one's a sequel to 2.
It's canon, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, is it 4 or 5 where like the main kid is meant to be Kevin McAllister?
No, because one of them's like a reboot.
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
why there's a Kevin McAllister in it. Anyway, Jesus.
But it's got a number in the sequel.
Hilariously,
it's like Bond or Fast and Furious.
I think it's one of those that was a backdoor pilot.
Well, there is a show in development for Disney Plus now.
Sideways. Anyway, I need to finish this email.
Yeah. Florence, pew pew pew. We're back on track.
Hilariously, Red Guardian and Melina seem to be restraining from throwing themselves at each other. He has a lot of energy. Yeah, that's true. The opening credits were great. They felt sinister and scary. No, they're too fucking long. But I'm glad you liked it.
I love the visuals, but the song just took me out of it.
One moment that has stuck with me in particular is when Melina contacts Yelena and says, "It's me, it's Mama." That really hit me in the heart place. Yeah, that's true. My biggest problem was the villain. As a man, maybe not the best person to comment, but to me the messages of the film were really good, with the ideas of female mutilation and abuse being anything but subtle, yes. However, Dreykov was barely in the film. When he was, I really enjoyed the performance, barely disguised Cockney accent and all. But I feel like we didn't really get to know his reasons why until an info dump at the end. I really liked Taskmaster. I did predict the reveal as soon as we saw the flashback, but that didn't detract from my enjoyment of the action. But I felt like Taskmaster didn't move the ideas forward aside from Natasha's guilt. She was just there to be cool. I think that's a fair comment.
Yeah.
There's a version of this movie where Dreykov and Taskmaster are one in the same, but that would probably detract from the control aspect of the film's message. Maybe if Taskmaster, leader of the Red Room itself, were under mind control. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm only a 21-year-old drama student. And there's nothing wrong with that. Be who you be. I really love the music in this film. The men's chorus was so quintessentially Russian and oppressive.
Yeah, there's
However,
a lot of that very old school vibe played to great effect.
I do think it's suffered from the lack of a leitmotif for Natasha, not one that I could make out anyway. Yeah, the music for the Marvel films is very hit and miss.
Like,
in general.
Distinct scores, for me, it's like Spider-Man Homecoming, The Avengers.
Yeah.
Because then that motif is a through line in the rest of his movies.
The first Captain America.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. The first Avengers got a great score. And the Iron Man 3 suite at the end of Iron Man is still my favourite piece of music out of all these movies.
Fair.
But it's weird. It's just the end credits suite. But it's like, can that not have been his theme the entire time? It's just like, yeah, let's go.
But no. The music for the shows have been way better, to be fair.
Loki's score
Loki's
this week
score
was
was
fucking
amazing.
gorgeous.
Those post credits can be boiled down to don't forget to check out the Hawkeye on Disney Plus show, folks. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm certain you've shared your thoughts already. However, here is the critical question: who would win in a fight? The irresistible Red Guardian or the man who invented the concept, Mr. Irresistible? Listen, Mr. Irresistible has no beef with the Red Guardian. For that meat hunk of a man, he only has love.
I mean, coincidentally, right now, your beard is sort of trimmed in a very square way, and you are wearing a deep red colour with grey pants for emphasis of...
We swapped.
Yeah.
Have a good week, boys.
Okay.
See you next time to talk about the Sylvie Show. From a big Russian boy who has just broken out of prison and has a lot of energy. I mean, James. Just broken out of prison. I have a lot of energy. This one comes in from Jack. Jack says, "Hello, big boy."
You would say that, Jack. In fact, I go so far as to say that's all you ever say.
You're not wrong, though.
That's fair enough.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Right, so lots to cover here.
Get the big brush.
Friday, the 16th, was my birthday. Happy birthday for Friday.
Happy birthday for the past.
And we had lots to do over the course of 3 days. 3-day birthday.
3 days
3-day
of
birthday.
playtime.
Well, starting on Thursday, me and my wonderful girlfriend Chloe went to see Black Widow on the big screen. I'm glad it went there. We very much enjoyed it, but felt that the action could have been a little less choppy in places and the family scenes could have lasted a little bit longer. It felt like Red Guardian and Melina turned on the Red Room over the course of that one dining room scene. Anyway, COVID-wise, it was a great experience. Believe it or not, we were 2 of only 4 people in the whole theatre. We practically had the place to ourselves. That's impressive. I've been going to the one at the... this might mean nothing to you depending on where you are, but I've been going to the one at the Lowry on Salford Quays because it's like recliner seating, so it's distanced anyway. Yeah. And they're smaller capacity screens anyway, so that's been...
Since they've done that, like, that is now my sort of idea. I'm on the verge... Are you listening, Odeon? I'm on the verge of cancelling my Odeon membership now, because I'm just like...
Oh, we cancelled it as soon as the pandemic started. When we closed. Like, we just got rid of it straight away.
I kept on going for a bit, because they kept putting it on pause. Like, every now and again, they'd stop, and then they'd sort of take it 1 month, and then they'd stop again, because they'd stop started.
Yeah. As soon as it was clear that the cinemas were going to be closed for a while, we were just like, yeah, cancel that. But anyway...
I'll see how I go. Now that there's a bit more freedom of movement, like, I might end up using it again, because it's the most easily reachable for me on public transport. It's like 1 bus and I'm there.
Yeah.
So I might still use it for a month or so, see how I feel, but at the minute I'm like, the big damn movie dates, I think we should just trip out to View.
Lowry, mate.
Lowry it, son.
Alright, mate.
And then we'll go into the I'm a Celebrity experience next door.
Fuck that.
No, we're not going to do that.
Loki series finale. Kang! A conqueror, you say? On Friday, chill day, not much happened, but on Saturday, we had a trip to London. We were going to go to Doctor Who Time Factor and tickle Brian the Youth on his tentacled chin. However, this didn't happen due to water damage to the set, so we're going later in the month.
Yeah.
Boo!
It's closed for a couple of weeks, yeah.
Instead, I picked up a copy of Spider-Man Miles Morales, and oh my, did I have fun with that game. Feels very different to the first, but still much of the same, which is great.
That's what I'm holding in my hands.
He's holding in his hands.
It's Jack's copy of Miles Morales.
It's not Jack's copy.
Oh.
It's your copy.
Okay, I guess I'll just put this down then. Put it.
Open it
Hang on,
again.
the latch is on.
No.
There
we go. Okay. Out of some questions from my boys.
Bring them on, you dirty sausage.
We do not belong to you, but you can adopt us if you want. Why do people want Spider-Man No Way Home to be a Spider-Verse film? I know this is impossible to answer, and I really hope they don't. Aviarad will probably try shoving Venom in again. Hope not, though.
Still fits.
Never did. Never fit.
Hey, his spider sense was tingling.
Also,
if you know what he's talking about.
Also, I've noticed that there's a large amount of people who absolutely love the Amazing Spider-Man films, and fair enough, but I still don't understand the Stanship when the direction it was going to look to me like a repeat of Maguire's third film. Yeah, kind of.
Just Aviarad throwing... Well, no, because they were also going to force franchise into...
Sinister Six.
Into it, like, because Drew Goddard was involved in that, which was the only thing about it that made me go, okay, if he's behind it, maybe he's got an idea. And then that went to shit, and then Netflix went, hey, we're making Marvel shows, and he went, Daredevil, please.
Yeah.
And then that was amazing.
Yes, please. Over here.
Yeah, the Amazing Spidey is... I see why it's got its fans. Same reason why the prequels like really have their fans. There are people who grew up with that as their version.
I think it's a great looking suit.
Yeah.
Like, enough of the classic in there with its own flavour.
And then, I mean, the second one as well just nails it. Like, the second one's the most comic accurate looking...
Yeah.
I think I've got that here. Yeah,
and I like Andrew Garfield also.
Go.
Like, I do like Andrew Garfield.
There's Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's a suit. It's a very skinny figure. It's a nice
and I like
accurate
Emma
build.
Stone. I like that they did the Lizard. I thought the Lizard was alright in the first one.
I enjoyed him. I
Didn't love the design, but I like that they did him.
Yeah, I didn't hate Electro, but now I since have sort of realised that no, I love Jamie Foxx.
I hate that performance.
I think that's why I gave it a pass at first.
Because like that performance is not Jamie Foxx's finest hour.
No. So that's the thing with me. Every time I hear, oh, Melina might be coming back, completely compromising the character's journey in Spider-Man 2. Oh, Jamie Foxx might be coming back. Cool, but like, why? You know, I'm just not. I think people want it because it's mostly. I mean, prove me wrong, dear listener. If you're sort of millennial or older, let me know if I'm wrong. I feel it's more of a Gen Z thing. I feel it's more younger viewers who have now grown up with nearly a decade of, oh look, we're merging our franchises.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like the MCU model. I mean like your Lego movies. TV shows like Once Upon a Time, like things like that, where it's like, look, we are mushing all of our toys together in one thing. So I think it's almost a thing of when's the next one, and I'm like, we kind of lose summer every time we do this.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I have no desire to seek out multi-Doctor Big Finish audios is because I'm like, I remember when the Doctor meeting himself was a special occasion.
Yeah.
It happened, including a charity special, 4 times.
It's like things
before the show came back.
Things like the
and 2 of those were on 3 of those were on anniversaries.
Like things like the Doctor Who Star Trek crossovers and things like that just like hold no appeal for me whatsoever.
I've read that, and I do quite like it, but it's because it took me by surprise.
Yeah. Well, in the same way that,
but I know what you mean. It's like, why do these things need to meet?
Yeah.
In the story, they sort of address it as like either one could be a fiction to the other.
Yeah.
So it's like you can interpret it however the fuck you want.
And they've also done things like the Transformers did a bunch of them.
Yeah, Ghostbusters,
Transformers Back to the Future,
Transformers, and what's the guys from X-Files? The spin-off.
That was
that was one.
That was the IDW did that with like X-Files and all of their like they did with Transformers, they did it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they did with a couple of other things.
Yeah. In the words of Syndrome, when everyone is special, no one will be.
No one will be.
That's the thing. It's just like the idea of doing a Spider-Man movie, mashing up all the actors, to me doesn't make me go, yes, give me that. It makes me go, huh. Spider-Verse, the comic book, worked because the majority of the characters in it were brand new characters, and the story was about like, let's see what we could do with the idea of an army of Spider-Man.
Comic books.
Spider-Verse, the film, is brilliant because it's a story about an African-American Hispanic teen suddenly being thrust this mantle of that comes with status and power, and dreading that he's going to fuck it up, and him learning to be himself and realise that he is enough. That's why that film's special.
Yeah.
It's then got some really cool visuals and plays around with concepts that you're familiar with to surprise you.
Yeah.
That's why it works. Just making that about 3 live-action white guys kind of takes away what makes that movie special culturally.
Yeah.
But it does replicate the spectacle of that movie,
Yeah,
which is what Avi Arad's
what
very
the money
big on.
people are all about.
Yeah.
And these movies are made by money people. It's just sometimes money people get it right.
I want to be proved wrong. I want to watch
I would love to be
Spider-Verse.
proved wrong.
Oh, Spider-Verse. I want to watch No Way Home if it is that and go, do you know what? You got me.
I just want it to be good. Like, I prefer things are good than not good. That's just where I stand.
That's the thing. That's why after hearing loads of buzz about it, I spotted Asda earlier for £7, new release. Was quite like and I'll pick it up later in the week. Werewolves Within, which has been getting amazing reviews.
Okay, give that a look.
As touted as basically like, hey, we found a video game movie adaptation that doesn't suck, because the game it's based upon is very story heavy anyway.
Yeah.
And is a VR game, so you can't fuck that up because everyone's experience with it will be unique.
Yeah.
So here's a version where we have a lead character who's going through that story that you can watch. And it's like, okay. Plus, it's the directorial debut of Josh Rubin, who most folks might know as a very big contributor from the mid-2000s to sort of the mid to late 2010s to College Humor.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible comedy writer and performer.
Yeah.
And in all of his interviews since this has been coming out and people asking him about it and it debuting like a #1 on the chart on Amazon last week and stuff in the States, people have been saying, so what do you want to do next? And he's like, Darkman. But I don't want to remake it. I want to reboot it. And I want Raimi's blessing. And he just keeps mentioning it now. Every time it's mentioned, he's like, cool, just sharing this article again.
Yeah.
Can I have a chat with Sam Raimi and ask him how to reboot it? Who's got Darkman? Can I do it?
Who's got his number?
And I'm like, I will give it to him. I won't even watch Werewolves Within and go, based on this, I would give you this property. I just watch the sketches on College Humor where he plays George R.R. Martin and go, you're fucking great.
Yeah.
You can direct this movie.
You can have this.
That one where he's explaining how the series is going to end and everyone's going to get fucking murdered. Everyone you like because he hates you.
Yeah.
Your sorrow is my playground. Your tears are the fountain I frolic in.
And now George R.R. Martin's sorrow is our playground because look what happened. Anyway.
Have you seen him spilling the tea?
No, I need to continue on with this email, Christopher.
Jack, listen.
Stop taking me on tangents.
George R.R. Martin, right, recently made it clear that he also was very disappointed with the end of the TV show.
Yeah, I'll bet he was.
So hurry up and write the real ending, George.
Anyway, Jack goes on to say, I found myself looking for comic books, but don't know where to start.
Ah!
It's one of these again. I haven't read comics since my early teens.
Should we grab some off one of these shelves?
With the astonishing Spider-Man line.
Hey! Me too! That was my gateway.
Oh, God.
After
Is there any good starting points or full stories you could recommend from Black Widow, Spider-Man, Doctor Who, or any from upcoming MCU films like Shang-Chi or The Eternals? Also, how do you get through stories that are good but have art that you don't like?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, put a pin in that. Eternals, your one-stop Neil Gaiman's Eternals.
Neil Gaiman and John Romita Jr.'s Eternals.
It's in a trade.
Yeah.
UK Panini Publishing House have reprinted it a bunch of times, so it should be available. And I think it's called. I've got it there. Yeah, it's no, hang on.
It's just Eternals by Neil Gaiman.
Yeah. My copy over there is the print from the 2000s, and it says Neil Gaiman's Eternals. Yeah. Because they wanted to sell it, and Neil Gaiman was a hot author at the time, so. But yeah, Neil Gaiman's Eternals.
Shang-Chi, he's not really had a good run.
For a long time, yeah. But he's
had
a
solo
great
title for a long time.
He's an amazing guest.
Yeah.
He pops up in other people's stuff.
He pops up in all sorts of stuff here and there.
So if you got Marvel Unlimited, seek out the Domino comic, the Domino series, where he guested a few issues, where we learn that Gail Simone wrote that, and we learn, amongst many other things in that series about Domino, that her type is like 6'2" and above really broad dudes. So she has a party, and at it she's invited like Colossus and Cable and Warpath, and one of her friends is like, "You're so obvious.
Yeah.
You're so obvious." But her exception is Shang-Chi, who she apparently had a poster of on her wall growing up.
Brilliant.
That she used for inspiration,
I'll
unquote.
bet she did.
And at one point she seeks him out and he trains her, and she's spending the whole thing being like, I have to concentrate, but I also really want to go back to my bunk and masturbate right now.
Cool.
Because he's here,
Cool.
and it's the most hot I've ever felt in my life.
Okay.
And Shang-Chi is written brilliantly in that, but it's just that extra layer of like, you're watching someone fangirl over him, which sets up brilliantly how much of a legacy that character did have.
Yeah.
And that was sort of forgotten because writers went, this is kind of problematic. It's
Yes.
like, it doesn't have to be, you can make it better, but they took a while to get around to it.
Yeah, that's kind of why there hasn't been a really good Shang-Chi run, really. Solo one. Black Widow, not sure.
The Marvel,
I don't read a lot of Black Widow
the
stuff.
the Marvel Now or Marvel All New All Different number
Widow
ones.
stuff.
Yeah, I followed I think it was the All New All Different one.
Is that the one that Phil Noto drew?
Yes, and it has those beautiful covers that are like...
Phil Noto's a great artist.
Yeah, that one. As look for Phil Noto Black Widow. That run is great. Especially if you enjoyed The Winter Soldier, the film, it's that kind of level of just like intrigue and espionage stuff in the Marvel Universe. It's really, really good. And he also gives her a mole, which I know is a really weird statement to make, but like you never really see blemishes on the characters.
He does like to do like beauty spots and moles and stuff on his characters, just to give him a bit of.
Oh yeah, people have these things. Why are we not drawing them?
He did a great series of like images that were like, but also like historical photos of various Marvel characters, like people at the FF's wedding and things like that, and just like candid shots of various characters. They were great. He's a great artist.
Phil Noto Black Widow. Who's the other one?
Spider-Man.
Tough. If you're looking to try something, I think we said this before, if you're looking to try something with the potential of carrying on, and you don't mind references to like early 2000s movies, pick up Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 or Ultimate Spider-Man Ultimate Collection Volume 1, starting with, make sure you're starting with Peter Parker, the 2000-2001 stories.
Yeah.
Because if you enjoy it, you're in for one hell of a ride, which will eventually culminate in you getting a new main character who we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Whose video game you may or may not have been playing. So, yeah, there's that.
If you want to jump on 616 Peter, then you've basically got like 4 main jumping on points for recent Spider. J. Michael Straczynski.
What's the first JMS? It's it's behind Shang-Chi on my shelf, ironically.
Just get the
it's behind him!
Just get the complete...
Coming Home.
Yeah, Coming Home's the first one, but you can probably get it as like a complete collection or something easier. So Spider-Man by J. Michael Straczynski, or...
Big Time, Dan Slott.
I would say Brand New Day is a decent jumping on point.
It is, and I do like it a lot.
Then Big Time.
Yeah.
If you just want to jump onto the Dan Slott only stuff.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, if you want to go to the more recent stuff, then you jump onto the Nick Spencer.
Yeah.
Stuff.
If you're looking for a one-off, Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah.
Is a really good one-off story. And especially if your sort of introduction to Spidey's been through the movies and you know your Gwens and your Mary Janes, you will learn a lot about Gwen and Peter's relationships in this book, and it's beautifully done. It's the team. It's Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the team behind Batman: The Long Halloween.
But they did the Colours series for Marvel, so they did Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow, Hulk Grey.
Yeah, I've not read
America
Daredevil Yellow.
White.
I've not read that one either. I've read Grey. I've read Grey and Blue.
Finished,
yeah. Which are again beautiful book. Hulk Grey is one of my favourite like one-off Marvel books. It's beautiful.
Doctor Who comics.
That is tough. If you're looking for a one-off, Weapons of Past Destruction, 9th Doctor Volume 1, because it is a mini-series. It's a 5-issue arc.
Yeah. And
it was meant to be a mini, and then it did well, so it became an ongoing for a couple of years after. So if you want more, there is more after that.
Yeah.
But that's a really nice, tight, one-off story written by Kevin Scott and illustrated half and half by Blair Shedd and Rachel Stott. Other than that, I'd recommend probably grab some 11th Doctor IDW stuff, because it's not long. It's like a couple years that it ran before Titan got the license, but it's really fun, and it's a lot of what worked about the Doctor Amy and Rory era is captured really nicely in those books.
Good.
I mean, you can get hold of any like old school Marvel style reprints of 6th or 7th Doctor stuff. Power to you, because that's quite good too.
4th Doctor stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, that cover is turning into like a werewolf. Ooh, that's freaky. Yeah.
The 6th Doctor stuff that Grant Morrison wrote a few stories for, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, good times. Anyway, Doctor Who. It's time for Matt and Chris, who laugh on Doctor Who fans, to look to the answer to Doctor Who questions.
We're going to do that thing that you don't want us to not do, but we're going to not do it even though we're doing it. What? That was my theme. Does that work?
No. Think we'll get any news at Comic-Con? Maybe.
If there's any justice, we should.
Should get an air date.
Even if it's a teaser trailer.
Teaser trailer, maybe an air date.
Yeah.
I'd like an air date.
It's about fucking time. That was, remember the tagline for Series 11 was, it's about time. That's about fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, come on. You've been on the cover of your own official magazine, your current version, once in a year. Like, let's get something out, please.
Excited by some of the set photos I've seen, but still unsure on Mr. John Bishop, but can't judge until I've seen the show, of course. If only the rest of the internet was so patient.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you think we'll actually get a decent ad campaign this series?
No.
No. Where do you hope the timeless children's story will go? Somewhere.
I hope if it does go somewhere, it doesn't go somewhere this series.
Yeah.
And they make you want it, and every reveal that comes out of it is gradual, is a dribble, and something that makes even naysayers go, "All right, I'm listening." So yeah.
I really hope they don't do a Rise of Skywalker by doing a 180 and ignoring it. I didn't like the revelation at first. I thought it was shit, to be honest, but since I've grown to accept and even warm to it, I think a lot of people will be swayed by how Series 13 handles it. I still find it odd that a scrapped idea from McCoy's planned Series 27 was resurrected how it was. It's happened before, of course, but not to this extent. On the topic of McCoy, I've been watching some interviews with him during his time as the Doctor, and it's a real shame that almost all the presenters really don't take him seriously. And I find it quite sad when he tries to explain how Series 26 was going in a new, bold direction, and his Doctor was much darker and less clownish. Yeah.
I mean, we know with hindsight, like a lot of people who were there at the time and not there at the time can all now watch like that last series and go, "This is really good."
Yeah.
Like, this is really good, and I would like to see more. I would like to subscribe to your newsletter, please.
And you can draw the line between Survival and Rose.
Yeah.
Over 15 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
So
it's there. It is. I mean, Christ! There's just the set. Take out the 7th Doctor and Ace, replace them with the 9th Doctor and Rose.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's bob on.
He's
He's also brilliant. He's great.
He is
in the
brilliant.
role. Like, his first series is the one where tonally they kind of cock up what they should be doing. Then he has those moments.
They got someone who can clown, and they just made him clown. They didn't actually push him. And then when they actually gave him some more stuff to work with, he was great.
Yeah. Then they cancelled the show.
Yeah. Anywho, I'm off to celebrate Freedom Day and stay indoors because I really want to give that a tickle in 2 weeks instead of being in lockdown. Bye.
Goodbye, my dear.
Sorry for the long email again.
Don't
apologise. It's only as long as it is because Chris won't shut up.
That's true. You're only as long as the woman you feel.
As this should have been a 35-minute podcast.
It should have been. I think at one point I just sort of gave in to the moistness. I'm just like,
I'm so damp.
But this
is
my neutral temperature now. So when we leave this room, surely in comparison, we'll be like, oh, the world is cold.
I think I've melted into your chair. So
I'd like that.
If I can free myself, then you'll be able to get in touch with us at bigdamcontact@gmail.com or tweet us at bigdamcast. If I can get over to my streaming setup without melting into a puddle of goo,
that's true.
Then you'll be able to watch me on twitch.tv/bigdamstream. We might try and finish Detroit Become Human.
Someone was asking me the other day, what is it you're playing? I was like, I think it's Deus Ex
it's really
Human Revolution.
I wish it was.
But it's because they've all got these titles that are so fucking similar.
I could play Human Revolution. Anyway, and then, of course, if you want to support us a little bit, you can do that by going to patreon.com/bigdamcast.
Keeps the lights on.
I have to get out of this room. Goodbye, all. Goodbye, my dear.
Good luck unfastening the manacle. Oh, it was made of ice. It's gone. Oh, okay.